We'll also begin with the Shalom Aleichem. We have the Siddur, we have song sheets on the back table, and we use a little back and forth. So for now, we begin with Shalom Aleichem. Just a reminder, Shalom Aleichem first originates perhaps 1,000 years ago. It originates as a song to be sung in the home. And the symbolism of the Shalom Aleichem is that in the home, as we calmed ourselves from the busyness of the week, we took note that angels were visiting us. And we sang a song to welcome the angels. We have a little angel right there. And as we calmed ourselves, sang a song, the angels are described as coming into the home and blessing us, and then they leave from our home, go to the next home, the next home, the next home, and so on. And the song is very popular and it moved into the synagogue. But I take hold of this every single Friday night, and I ask, what does it mean for us to consider that angels need to come to our home to begin their journey? What is it about our home that lifts up and excites and motivates angels to go somewhere else? What a challenge, what an opportunity it is that you and I are in a position to bid angels shalom, welcome, and they're joyously moving to the next location. Shalom Aleichem is on page 5. Turning now on page 11, the opening of a section of Psalms which introduces us to the evening service on page 11. And by the way, in the Siddur, we have the Hebrew on one side, the translation on the other side, and the red ink on the English side is the phonetic or the transliteration of the Hebrew. Page 11. Let's go and sing to Adonai. Let us trumpet praise to our protector. Filled with thanks, let us greet God, raising our voice in song. We may understand our days to be a pilgrimage in time, from the 6 days of the work week to the experience of the day of rest, holy time. The generation that left Egypt and wandered in the wilderness never reached their destination, the place of God's rest. But every Friday evening, we have the opportunity to make the journey anew, this time with an openness that will enable us to truly enter the land and come close to the Lord. We turn now in the Siddur to page number 21. Page 21. And again, the translation is on the left-hand side, and the phonetic, the red ink is the transliteration. Mizmor leDavid, Havu Adonai b'nei, Havu Adonai kavod, Havu Adonai kavod shemo, Hishtachavu Adonai adrat kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim, El kavod hirim, Adonai al mayim rabim, Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai me'adar, Kol Adonai shomer ha'razim, V'yishamer Adonai et arzei al-Lebanon, V'yirkidei k'mo egel, Lebanon b'sigon k'mo ben re'im, Kol Adonai choseh l'havot eish, Kol Adonai yafil midbar, Yafil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yachol elayolot, Vayechesot ya'arot, V'hekolot v'lomer kavod, Adonai lamavul yasha, Yesher Adonai melech le'olam, Adonai oz le'amo yitei, Adonai yivarech et amo shalom. So the Shabbat is on page 23, 3 opening stanzas, and then on page number 25, 3 concluding stanzas. And the symbolism of the Shabbat is that we are welcoming Shabbat. Shabbat is joining us. Shabbat is entering this room. Again, what would attract Shabbat to come to this room? The answer is, we're here. Shabbat wants to be with us. The Shabbat, the first 3 stanzas on page 23, the last 3 stanzas on page 25. Please remain standing for a moment. Turning to page 27. This is the psalm which is nicknamed the Psalm for Shabbat. There are 150 psalms in the Bible, and about 70 or so of those psalms are on varying levels of frequency used in the Jewish prayer system. Some 75 or so are almost never mentioned, not used, you might say. Some once a year, some every day. This is one that's associated with Shabbat. And tonight, it's the first thing. It is good to thank you, my God. It's good to sing to your name most high, to proclaim your love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night, which means that it's good for us to stop and inherit, turning on Friday night when we see the sky. We remind ourselves we're supposed to be grateful. Don't ignore the transition from afternoon to evening. Your eyes are open. Your ears are sense of touch. The temperature change, the pressure change. Activate every aspect of your being and be grateful for being part of the rhythm of nature. That's what the psalms say. And now, turning to page 28, the last piece next. The righteous flourish like the date palm, thrive like a cedar in Lebanon, planted in the house of Adonai. They flourish in our God's courtyards. In old age, they remain fruitful, still fresh and bountiful, proclaiming Adonai is upright, my rock, in whom there is no law. We were seated, and tonight we have a number of song sheets, and if you will, the first that we have this evening, it's going, is entitled Ezehu Chacham, which is a message from Pirkei Avot, Ethics of the Fathers. Who's the wise person? A wise person is somebody who listens to other people. A wise person is defined as somebody who learns from others. We're supposed to open our ears and our minds. We can learn from each other. This is from Josh Nelson.
Can't feel separate.
verse in hearing labs. Maybe you can just listen to that. Your eyes are Borflu. Page 39.
On page number 42. On page number 44. On the English side.
Who is like you, Adonai, among the mighty? Who is like you, adorned in holiness, revered in praise, working wonders? Your children recognize your sovereignty as you split the sea before Moses. This is my God, they responded and said, Adonai will reign forever and ever. Malchut hara uvanecha, v'okei lifnei Moshe, zei anu gamru, Adonai yimod le'olam va'ed. And so it is written, Adonai has rescued Jacob and redeemed him in the hand of those more powerful than he. Baruch atah Adonai, who redeemed the people of Israel. Now we have another song sheet. The song is by Craig Talman and it's entitled Holy Ground.
Every second, every minute, every hour, every day, everything, everyone, every place, every way, where you walk, where you stand,
the degrees of these people. Because we're calling out Hashkivein. And we're seeking not only for ourselves, but for strangers, for people nearby, people around the world. This night, a night of peace, when they place their heads on their pillows. And many people don't have that. They're relying on us, pray to God, to help bring that about. That's what Hashkivein is for. You and me, to open our hearts and our minds and our imaginations to people who are not like us. And they may not be able to speak to us. On the English side, page 45. Hashkivein Adonai our God, to sleep peacefully. Awaken us to life from sovereign. Spread over us with canopy of peace. Restore us with your good counsel. And save us for the sake of remain. Shield us. Remove from us envy, pestilence, sores, starvation, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings. For you, God, watch over and deliver us. And you, God, are sovereign, merciful, and compassionate. Ensure our going and coming for life and peace, now and forever. May you spread over us your canopy of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, spread the canopy of peace over us, over all people of Israel. Ufro Salemus B'Kach Lomecha, Baruch atah Adonai, Haporeis Sukkot Shalom Aleinu, Ya'al Yisrael, V'yal Yushalayim. The top of page 46, the Shabbat. On page 46.
Let
just a moment we'll rise for the Salamina chorus on page 47 to 52. There are 7 blessings, and we studied them before. Prayers of holiness, and we connected with the ancestors, and God is holy, and Shabbat is holy, and time is to be appreciated, and a prayer of gratitude and a prayer for peace. We recite it silently. But there's actually a wiggle to that. We're supposed to whisper the Amida. And if you whisper, who usually hears you? The person next to you. We're supposed to whisper the Amida loudly enough that we hear our own whisper, but not loudly enough that our neighbor hears it. In a way, we're focusing on the quiet of ourselves, but we're also attentive to the quiet of somebody else, but not your own almost whispered prayer intrude on somebody else's whispered prayer. So this becomes a space for listening to yourself and being aware of somebody else in prayer. We rise to the silent. And some of you drive through the neighborhood, sure. And perhaps you've noticed over the past, I think it's been about 2 years, a certain house coming from Greenlawn northwards, like it's very elaborately decorated. I think it was one of the first houses in this area that chose to decorate with a 10-foot plastic skeleton a couple of years ago. And over the past number of months, 1-2 years, when it comes to Halloween, the house gets all kinds of decorations. Christmas, it gets all kinds of decorations. You name it, not just plastic skeletons, but lights and signs and placards and sparkly things. And it goes on and on with great excess. And then this morning, as I was driving through the neighborhood, I noticed that now the skeleton is garbed in purple, gold, and green because it's the next holiday in the season. And almost the entire house is decorated with purple and gold and green, and with all kinds of other placards and signs and decorations that I didn't know existed. And I'm at a little bit of a low point right now. And I had an imaginary conversation in my head with my neighbor whom I do not know. And the conversation went as follows. You know, in light of the fires that are burning all over the LA area, tens of thousands of people are now homeless. In light of the fact that our hostages are still underground, would it be possible to just tone it down a little bit? Because there's some stuff going on right now. And I imagine that my neighbor who don't know would say, you know, Stephen, that's really the reason why I got this house festooned to the gills, because with so much darkness in the world, we need to bring a little light, a little humor, a little levity into the everyday. And my thoughts, I would say back then, I understand that I am not usually sour grapes, and I like jokes. As my kids know, I tell dad jokes all the time. They might not laugh, but I like telling jokes. But can't we just tone it down a little? And then this conversation, just pull it through the imaginary in my head, would end on the note of, we're going to agree to disagree at this point, and it's my house. And you might say, why are you at a low ebb? We just signed a deal. And the answer is because today is day 469. For 469 days, our families have been separated. For 469 days, parents have not seen their children, and kids have not seen their grandparents, and neighbors have not seen each other, and people whom we think we know are alive are underground and behind bars. And as hard as I try to look at the brighter side, which is what we all choose to do and we need to do to keep ourselves balanced, I feel like I'm walking a tightrope. And I do feel like I'm losing my balance. Within our congregation, our small synagogue, Ahavas Chesed, there are 10 members who have immediate family in Israel. Within our community of Ahavas Chesed in Mobile, there are many people who know and love Israelis, and Israelis are serving in the military, and Israelis have died. It's not just a newspaper report for you and me. And I'm thinking about what it means to be making a deal with people who want to eradicate all of us, and shaking hands, if that's what they do, with Zohar, with hands which are stained with blood. I'm thinking about, if not 15 and a half months, and we know the terms because we've been seeing in the news, and 42 days. And 42 days is 6 weeks, and that's only stage 1, and then there's stage 2. And that means that it can very well be a year and a half until some of our people get the remains of their loved ones home to have a funeral. Which is why when I saw a 10-foot-high plastic skeleton with purple and green decoration, I didn't really feel like celebrating this morning. And I'm supposed to be the encourager and the comforter for this synagogue and for this community. And instead I'm thinking, what if I were one of the people in Israel right now, and the lists of names are starting to be made known. And the first list contains 33 names. And I look at this list, and I see that my loved one is not on that list. And how do I bring comfort to my people in Mobile, whom I love, and who need company and reassurance? When there was a 10-foot-high plastic purple, green, and gold skeleton smiling at me, and I'm not quite sure what to say. And so I rely on a Torah reading retreat tomorrow, which we all know, and our local girls are reading a portion of it tomorrow late afternoon. And we begin to encounter what we call the Exodus from Egypt. And what many of us have forgotten is that the Exodus does not happen overnight. The Exodus spans, in description form, portions of 4 weekly Torah readings. It's a long haul. And according to the commentary, once Moses gets to Egypt, and then he has to face off with Pharaoh, and then eventually it's the starting point of what we would call the negotiations, and the plagues begin to motivate the negotiations. The plagues, according to the commentary, take a year. And you know the plagues because we have the Passover Seder, we take a glass of wine, blood, frogs, lice, and we dip it all up. And then after a few minutes we sing Dayanim, and we serve the meal, and we think we're done. But that's because the Seder is a compressed version of the first part of the 4 weekly Torah readings, which we begin to read tomorrow. And we celebrate the Exodus with great excitement and enthusiasm because, thank God, we're finally out. But it takes a long time to get out. And that's what I'm thinking about right now. And so I offer this to you because I'm supposed to offer you comfort and encouragement. And I'm saying that you and I are standing with our families. And we're accustomed to doing this because we've done this for a long time. Over 3,000 years, to be precise. We're not in this alone. It is terrifying. It is heart-wrenching. And it's not going to get better right away. But we can make it. We will make it. And the way we're going to get there is by being together. And by sharing our love and our hope and our prayer and sending our spiritual energy to God and to Israel and sharing that with each one of us. And knowing that we are not alone. Neither are they. Because as far away as they are, they're still within our hearts. That's why we're in synagogue at least tonight. Sure. We have another song sheet. And I'm attracted to this song. It's by a musician, consumer singer, Rick, because of the phrase Yeshlom, which means there will be peace. Yeshlom, there will be peace. And it's on the song sheet before us.
When we hear one another, there will be peace in the world. When we understand one another, there will be peace in the world. When we love one another, there will be peace in the world. Yeah, shalom. Yeah, shalom.
Your language is on page 56, we rise, page 56.
Shalom.
Please start remain standing. On page 58 is Kadisha Tome. And our congregation marks the following word touch, remembering with great love. Sam Novak, Goldie Rips, Ethel Muchnick, Grace Sheridan, Sam Brookoff, Dave Miola. That's, I think it's a great grandfather of Aaron David Miola. It's either a grandfather or it's not ours. So, Freda Gert, Herman Grodsky, Joseph Weisman, Rosalie Prince, Jacob Camille, Jimmy Weber, Larry Fernay, Rosa Gerhardt, Cheryl Chasson, Rhoda Herzog, Molly Kahn, Marsha Roberts, Morris Klarman, Dorothy Presser, Marjorie Slavin. Are there any other names to mention this evening?
Eddie Greger. Eddie Greger.
Eddie Greger. And we keep in our minds and our hearts all those lost to us in Israel and around the world. Kaddish on page 58. Yitkadal, Yitkadal, Shemei, Rabah, Bil'olam, Zikra, Chirutei, Yahweh, Malchutei, Yochayei, Chom, V'yomei, Chom, U'chayei, V'chol, Beit Yisrael, B'hagalah, V'zman, Karim, Imru, Amen. Yehei, Shmei, Rabah, Mevorach, Lama, Olamei, Olmaya, Yitvarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitmar, V'yitomach, V'yitnaseh, V'yithadar, V'yithaleh, V'yithalach, Shmei, Kusha, Rihu, Le'ela, Mikol, Erchata, V'shirata, Jushkachata, V'nechemata, Da'amirama, V'imru, Amen. Yehei, Shlama, Rava, Min Shmaya, V'chayim, Aleinu, Ya'akol, Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom, Min Ramah, U'yaseh Shalom, Aleinu, Ya'akol, Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. We're seated. And a reminder that the tone of the Kaddish is not sad or sorrowful. And the tone highlights the importance of remembering names. The word Shmei appears 3 times in Kaddish. We're talking about the holiness of God's name and the holy act of remembering the names of people who we love. That's what Kaddish is all about. The holiness of God's name and the remembrance and the holiness and love of people whom we name. It's naming for love and for holiness. May we have peace, we all say. Amen. We'll conclude with the Adon Olam on page 211, and then afterwards we have Kiddush and Moshe, we have wine and grape juice set up here on the back table, and call an opportunity to make Kiddush and Moshe in just a moment. Do you want to make a speech? You want to make a speech? No? Okay. Adon Olam is on page 211.
Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbos, folks. Let's make tradition